Microsoft Excel and OpenAI's ChatGPT are a combination that will change your life. In this video, we'll cover 3 ways you can use ChatGPT with Microsoft Excel to save time and boost your productivity. Our focus will be on formulas, macros, and charts. I'll leave a link in the description to access ChatGPT. All you have to do is sign up for an account or log into any pre-existing account. To use this chatbot, you can simply type in your questions at the bottom of the screen and then hit enter. Now we can get started within Excel. For each topic, I'll provide a beginner and also an advanced example so you can really understand how ChatGPT works and then kind of start to brainstorm certain ideas for your own Excel models. Firstly, looking at formulas. This first tab essentially just shows a made-up company, their different business segments, and then lists out their budget and their actual spend for July in this instance. So all we really want to see is the difference between the budget and the actual spend. So going into ChatGPT, we can literally write me a formula that subtracts C7 from B7. And you can see the formula is simply B7 minus C7, which I know is very easy and very basic, but it's good as a beginner example just to see how things work. And just like that, we can paste that formula into Excel, drag it down, and then we have our variance column complete. Now we can look at a more advanced example. On this tab, we have a chart that shows different regions and a certain sales target for the month of July. Then in column C, we have actual sales for the year, and our goal is to fill in that comment section. For our formula, we want to see if the goal was hit, and if so, what percentage above 100%. If the goal was not hit, we want to just write target missed. Now if we go within ChatGPT, we're able to request this certain formula, but we can write it out in a text form. As you can see here, I've already written out if the value in C7 is greater than the value in cell B7, write C7 as a percent of B7, otherwise write target missed. ChatGPT now realizes that we're looking for an if function, and then just like that provides you with a great formula that you can use and bring into your Excel model. We can place that within this cell D7, and as you can see in row 7, the actual value is above the goal for the month of July, so we see that comment being a value above 100%. Then below that, you see the target was missed, so instead of writing a percentage, we simply have target missed written out in text. Next, we look at Excel macros, or you might be more familiar with VBA. Within your Excel ribbon, check to see if you have the Developer tab. If not, you can follow these steps. Head over to File, and then you can click on Options, then go to Customize Ribbon. Just make sure Developer is checked, and then hit OK. And just like that, the Developer tab will appear within your ribbon. For our first macro, we want to update this chart and then be able to export an image containing that chart as a PDF. Once again, this is a very beginner level example. So we can head into ChatGPT and write out pretty much exactly what we just said. For this first example, I'll essentially write me a macro that exports the data in the macro tab as a PDF file. Now you can see ChatGPT going to work building out this macro. Once it's ready, you can highlight the text or simply click on copy. Now within Excel, you're going to want to hit Alt F11. That will launch your VBA or your screen for writing macros. On the left, you can see all the different tabs within your workbook. So for now, we want to just click on the sheet that has macro, which is the name where we want to pull the chart from. Then all we have to do is paste in the code directly from ChatGPT. Now you can hit Alt F8, click on that new macro, and hit run. This sample that ChatGPT gave us immediately prompts us to write out a name for this file. I'll just put sample. Then once the macro runs, you can see that we're met with a PDF file with just that chart available. When you're using macros with ChatGPT, it's important to write the name of the tab and include the different cell regions, and try to be as specific as possible. You might run into bugs depending on how complex the macro is you're building, but for the most part, ChatGPT does an excellent job of providing working code. For our more advanced macro example, we're going to generate random data and place it within this tab. Here in this example, I put write me an Excel macro that generates 100 lines of data, and then included the tab name. Make 3 columns and title them in the 4th row. Region, sales, month. Let the region column contain east, west, north, or south. Let sales be a random number between 10,000 and 100,000. And let month be randomized from January to December. Here's the response for this built out macro. As you can see, there's a lot of rows since a lot of data has to be randomized. And like the previous macro, we can just hit copy. Back within Excel, we can hit on Alt F11. Then we want to make sure we're in the advanced macro portion over on the left. Then you can hit Control V to paste in the code itself. Now we can hit Alt F8 and then run this new macro, which was given the name just generate data. Okay, so we can see here there seems to be some sort of bug. The data didn't generate and we got that error that prompt up. This is one of the good things about ChatGPT. You can respond to whatever the chatbot sends you in a conversational way. You can type in the error code that you're given, but for this I know that we basically just didn't include the tab name for where to put the data. I'm just going to ask, can you reword the macro to include the data within the macro advanced tab? And then just like that, we're given a response with that updated VBA or that updated macro. Once again, back within Excel, we can hit on Alt F11, click into that tab we're looking for, and then just paste in this new piece of code. Now when we do Alt F8, we can see that the random data has been inputted. Those 3 column names in row 4 are available. And then we have all that randomized data. Another thing to remember is make sure to save as a macro enabled workbook. That way the next time you open the file, you can continue to run the macros. Next, we can look at a beginner example to make charts. For our chart examples, we're going to again use macros, but this time the output itself is just going to be that visualization. Here in this Excel model, we just have budget by month. So you can see in column A, all the months, column B, the various budget amounts. Our first ask is going to be to simply build out a line graph using a macro. This time we can say, write me an Excel macro that creates a line chart based on data in the chart tab from A4 to B16, and then we can use what was written in cell A1 as the title. Then once again, back within Excel, we can hit Alt F11, open up that chart tab, and then just paste in the macro we were just given. Then if we hit Alt F8 and hit run, we can see we now have that line chart built out. The title, like we said in cell A1, is budget by month, and then we can kind of see the spikes throughout the year of the budget in this, make-believe made-up company. Now for our last example, we have an advanced chart build out. I built out a fairly dynamic Excel model. You can basically just update cell B4 with the drop down, and then the budget by segment will kind of auto-populate. Our goal is to be able to adjust those months and then build out a bar chart based on the updated data. So within ChatGPT, I'm essentially going to create an Excel macro to build a bar chart based on the data, and then include the tab name from this certain cell range, A6 to B12. For the more advanced piece of the prompt, we can make the bar colors green, and then the title can be whatever value is in B4 plus budget. So if it's April, it'll just say April budget within the chart. Then lastly, we can just say to include the values within each bar. So we'll look at the number values, the million amounts broken out by segment. And then just like that, once again, we can copy out the code that's been built out by ChatGPT. Back within Excel, hit Alt F11. Then we can click on the Chart Advanced tab and then simply hit Control V to paste in that code. Now we can hit Alt F8 and run that new macro. Just like that, we see our bar chart built out. Title says April budget as we have April data over on the left. The bars themselves are green. And then if we want to change the data set to October, we can delete out the chart, have the new data, and then rerun the macro. And you'll notice the chart's been changed, the data's been updated, and the title now says October budget. Let me know if you'd like to see more content about Excel or ChatGPT. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.